Okay, so today's opener is just a review of what we were talking about last week. So the first part, the first 4 questions, it's saying write the prime factorization in standard form only. Did any of you guys catch that? Or did you guys all write it in standard form and then exponential form because you're just used to it? Okay, so the first part, we're just writing it in standard form. So what are the 2 factors or 2 numbers that you can multiply together to get 25? So 5 and 5. So I'm going to make my factor tree, and I'm going to show that the factors 5 times 5 will get me the product of 25. Now, can I factor 5? No, because it's a prime number. So I'm going to circle them. So I'm going to circle all my prime numbers. Whatever I write down, you write down. Up to the right of it, because I want to write it in standard form, I'm going to put them in order from least to greatest. Well, they're the same numerical value, right? So I'm going to come up to the right of the 25 and write what, Daisha? Times. Good. So 25, when I write my factors out, is just 5 times 5. When I write it out in standard form, that's going to equal 5 times 5. That one's pretty straightforward. So now I need to find the factors, the prime factors of 48. Now there's all kinds of numbers that I can multiply together to get 48. All kinds of them. But I only want you guys to give me 2 factors. So what are 2 numbers that you use that you can multiply together to get 48? Jair?
4 and 12.
4 and 12. Did anybody use 6 and 8? Did anybody use 2 and 24? Okay, those are fine, right? So you said 4 and 12?
Yes.
Okay. Can I factor 4?
Yes.
Yeah, what times what equals 4?
2. 2.
And what kind of number is 2? Prime, so I'm going to circle it. Okay. Alex, can I factor 12? Yeah, what times what equals 12? And how about 2 and 6? You could also use, good morning, you could also use 3 and 4, and if you chose to use those 2 numbers, that is completely fine as well. Okay, what kind of number is 2? A prime, so I'm going to circle it. Can I factor 6? Yes. What 2 numbers can I multiply together to get 6? 2 and 3. Good. So, 2 and 3. What kind of number is 2 and 3? Prime, so I'm going to circle them. So with all the numbers I circled, those are my prime numbers. Those are the numbers that I'm going to come up next to the 48, put my equal sign, and write in order from least to greatest. So when I go to write my prime numbers in standard form, what's that going to look like? David? Yeah, absolutely. So what is these prime numbers written in standard form? What's that going to look like? So what's my answer in standard form?
2 times 2 times 2, 4 times, and then times 3.
Perfect. And that is it. Nice job. Yep, we don't have to write it in exponential form, just standard form. Because we're going to start transitioning from writing it in standard form to showing simplifying square roots. Remember how I showed you last week? I circled my pairs, I canceled my pair with my square root sign. That's what we're going to start focusing on today. So I just want you guys to be in the habit of writing standard form in order. Okay, Alex, do you have your ID? Okay. All right, 200. Let's see. Danielle, what are 2 factors that you can use to multiply together to get 200?
How about 100 times 2?
Okay, and we know 2 is prime. What are 2 factors I can use to multiply together to get 100, Michael?
52.
Nope. 15? 50?
Yeah.
50. I'm sorry, I thought you said 15. I'm like, no. Okay. What about for 50? What 2 numbers can you multiply together?
25 and 2.
Okay. Keep going.
5 and 5.
Good. All right, Jaden, standard form. How do I write this in standard form?
2 times 2 times 5.
Whoa.
Yeah, another 2.
Okay, there we go. Good. We don't have Deontay who opens our window every day for us anymore. All right, last one. We moved to Florida. We're on the beach. 400. What two numbers can I multiply together to get 400?
10 and 40.
Good. So we're going to use 10 and 40. Now, what two numbers can I multiply together to get 10?
5 and 5. I mean 5 and 2.
There you go. 2 and 5. Those are both prime. So we circle them. That basically means I can't factor them anymore and we're done. What two numbers can I multiply together to get 40?
You can do 10 and 4.
Okay. What else could you use? Anybody else use anything different?
Can you use 20 and 2?
You could use 20 and 2. You could use 5 and 8. If you chose to use any of them, it's not wrong. You're just doing it a different way. Okay. Can I factor 4?
Yes.
Yes. What times what?
2 times 2.
Perfect. And those are prime, so I circle them. So now, I'm done with the 4, so I have to go to the other part of my factor tree. 10. Can I factor 10?
5 and 2.
5 and 2. And what do I do with those numbers?
Circle.
Why?
I don't know.
Hey, you're getting there, though, because they're prime numbers. Good. So now we're going to write these in standard form, which means I'm going to write them in order from least to greatest. So every number I circled, I have to write up in order from least to greatest. So what's that going to look like?
It's gonna be 2, 2, 2, 2, 5, and 5.
So I have, let's see, let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do I have 4? And then times 5 times 5. Very good. Box it.
Oh, I was gonna ask you, why do y'all box those?
Because that way I can find your final answer quickly.
Oh,
So you're going to box every final answer. And I am so extra picky. Ask them, how picky am I when I grade your papers?
2 extra.
I'm too extra. So make sure you box everything, because if you go to take a quiz and you don't box an answer, I take points off because I am that extra. Right? Okay. Once you're done with the front side, flip it over to the back side. Now, looking at the back side, what do you notice? We're talking about what? My favorite. Square roots. So the first one, the square root of 16. Can you find the square root of 16 evenly? Yes, that's called a perfect square. But remember, as Jalen's words, I'm too extra. I like to see extra work. So, how do I show my work for the square root of 16? Who remembers?
2 times. What you mean?
No, what do I do?
Oh, you put 16 squared.
Nope.
Then what you talking about?
You gotta put your equal sign and enter a dollar equal 4. Then you gotta put your 2.
My squared.
Yeah, and then you have to cross the square root and then square, and you'll only get 4.
Good. So, you have to show this extra step here. Because that extra step here today is hopefully getting you to transition to the thought that square cancels with square root.
You gotta write it out like that.
Write it out like that, though. Good morning, Ethan. How are you this morning? Thank you. Okay, I'll give it to him.
So wait.
He's in my second right now.
I lost.
So,
Why is there a star at the top of the...
because that's this extra step that I want you to show. You don't have to write that star. That's the extra step that you have to show that it's not really necessary, but it's going to be necessary for this next lesson we're going to learn today. Okay, now, the main reason why I'm having you guys do that is that I want you guys to make sure that you're showing that your square cancels with the square root. So make sure that your cancel sign goes between both signs. Because I want you to remember that square root and square are inverse operations, meaning they cancel one another out. Just like when you guys do addition and you want to get the number by itself with the variable, you do the opposite of addition, which is subtraction. So the next problem here, we go to the square root of 7 squared. Now, it's 7. How did you get that, Alex? Yeah, how do we take it away? Yeah, we show that the squared and square root cancel to leave us with just the 7. So don't write what I'm writing in the red. So another way of looking at that is like this. If 7 squared is 2 7s, right? I'd be like 7 times 7. My second number would cancel with the square root sign, just leaving that 7 by itself.
So, would the bottom one be 27?
The bottom of it would be 27. Why? You're absolutely right.
So it cancels the 2 out?
Yeah, the square root and square cancel one another out,
Okay.
so we're left with 27.